sex is kind of overrated, y'all. I'm just saying. Sex is like cooperative fitness. You know, it's a great workout. Jesus. It's good cardio. I don't need it.
I fell in love quickly. I fell in love quickly.
My voice is starting to lag behind. 3,
2, 1, go.
I think you're on that side.
Yeah. How far do I go, though?
What's going through your mind?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I was like 6 feet tall, I'd kind of just lay on my side right here and like take this whole row. But like, every time I'd hear that phrase of, you know, I still haven't been able to say it throughout my entire life. Even when like my family would say it to me, or my friends would say it to me, or when my partner would say it to me. And despite all the training I've done of watching movies, I still don't register or follow with like what love means. You know what?
Yeah, it's not it. It's like when I was looking into lexithymia, I was looking at a lot of like the basic emotions that we look at, like happiness and sadness and fear and anger. Those things are a little bit easier to understand because there is actually like neurochemical things that are going on. Love's a bit different. It's a little bit more nuanced and hard to characterize because there is actually a hormone that's involved in it called oxytocin. But, you know, the idea of love for people, it's very much like a social construct thing. I think even like the concept of love and romance in general is quite a recent like creation in terms of humanity. So I can understand why it's confusing for him.
Here we go. Here, I'm just lay down right here. Actually, this floor is dirty. I'm good. I should not have done that.
You were talking about not experiencing what love is supposed to be, and I feel like I caught you in a mental trap that I spent like years in. The thing with media and music and like movies is that we're told like this is what neurotypicals experience and this is the peak of existence. And there's no supposed to. Whatever you feel and brings you joy is your path. And that's one of the things that makes our love so unique.
Actually, that's I kind of feel like, I think what I've talked to Ray earlier about, I'm more of a shower than a teller. Like these words of affirmations, like saying things like, I miss you, is things that I'm not very strong at talking about. And more in my actions, I can show things that I care about you. You know, like...
Also, I don't know if you guys have the same experience, but like definitely for me, like learning about romance and love and relationships from movies. Like I used to learn a lot of things, like tried to learn social skills and stuff from watching movies. It actually was probably a bit more harmful than helpful than anything. Like I found it really like to be not helpful at all. Like learning these things from movies. It's very much like a glamorized approach to what life is like in love.
I'll bring you food.
Yes.
Or I will hug you harder. And I'll be like, I got you, girl.
I feel like I definitely
need to get this guy on the
found strong feelings for him quickly. You did things that were very difficult to ignore, like write me love poems and share them on stage.
Just how I did it.
I'm not on strongly agree because we're still figuring out what these feelings mean. So I'm hesitant to fully...
Be vulnerable?
Thank you. Yeah, hesitant to fully be vulnerable, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Ayumi, I saw you kind of agreeing.
Yes, I think being on the spectrum, sometimes we just love bomb. I would like write him letters. I was like probably way too much at the beginning, like obsessiveness. I was just like, yeah, heart eyes immediately.
Around a month into us dating, we were just like talking it in and out, and I fell asleep, and he just like let me like sleep with like my head in his lap, and I was like, I want to be with him forever, but I just kept that to myself because no one says that a month in.
Sure. My partner wants more physical intimacy than me. 3, 2, 1.
Intimacy.
Okay, we got a huge split here
Interesting.
between Chai and Ray. I'm curious.
Well, it's not that I don't like physical intimacy, but I know clearly Ray definitely likes it more than I do. Yeah, I did lack a lot of physical intimacy. Since in my childhood, I learned physical affection more through fists than hugs. What did caught me more was that there was a certain way that Ray hugged me differently than the way that I naturally got hugs. And
You're supposed to like keep like a strong, like tight hug for like 20 seconds for optimum release of oxytocin.
I'm like, this feels really warm and nice. I don't like getting naked. I feel like
Fair enough.
sex is kind of overrated, y'all. I'm just saying. Sex is like cooperative fitness. You know, it's a great workout. It's pretty good options. Like, it ain't a bad thing. It's a pretty great thing. I don't need it.
Yeah, so that's a balance that's hard to maintain sometimes. I've definitely had to tone back my desire for physical interactions. I get a lot of those needs met through hand holding and hugging, so I'm like basically always hugging Chai.
It's funny, like, when I first asked Ray, may I place my hand into your hand? Or can I run my face into your face?
This guy. Is,
because I didn't know, like, how to, because consent is
not
important, y'all.
infantilizing,
Like,
just personality
you know,
wise.
got to get that consent. I need the verbal cues to be like,
Yeah.
may I have your permission to do
Get
the
like the forms out. You can take sign here, and here. Are these okay? Do I have direct like communication around this? Oh man. You don't really get that when you date neurotypicals. I'll tell you that.
I'm about to do to you. So that's kind of what I needed a lot. If she says, I'm feeling it, I'm like, I got you. And she says, I'm not feeling it, I'm going to turn off.
It seems that there's a lot of commonalities here. I've literally heard her say some of the same words you just said it. She's like, you know, okay, give me your hand. I'm going to put my hand in your hand now. And I'm like, you don't got to ask for that. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna hug you. I'm like, babe, you like my whole wife.
It's an awkward thing for me when it comes to physical, because I still to this day I ask for consent a lot of times because this doesn't come naturally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like in the
But I don't think that's bad. Like if you're someone who struggles with like constant like physical connection with somebody, like it makes sense to. Like, I definitely do. Like, I couldn't like hug someone for like extended periods of time. Like, I need my space, you know, like physical space. But you know, whenever I would want something, like it's always good to ask, like, or like invite somebody. I think because you never know what like people's social batteries are like and whether they're overstimulated. You know, communication is really good, and it seems like. As well as like having commonalities that they all tend to be very like communicative or like insightful about their experiences, which is really cool.
because sometimes I'm overstimulated, so he might try to give me affection and I might be like, you know, right now is not a good time. My youngest is the same way. We get overstimulated really easily, so she's like, don't touch me, don't hug me, you know. But sometimes I need a lot of affection. I'm like, come on, like, you know, comfort me, I need comforting. And other times I'm like, you know, this is too much, I don't need that right now.
Like, I mean, I experience a lot of overstimulation. That basically makes me more inclined to like set my skin on fire than it is to want to like be like in a romantic like touching situation sometimes. I struggle with the question, I guess, because it's not me. That's just like how my body reacts to my environment.
Yeah.
It's not something like I identify with. It's just, if anything, it's just a cause for annoyance, which is something.
I think one of the issues about like particularly like long like cuddling for like long periods of time, she looks really upset. Is like I don't know. I feel like definitely like during the evenings, like I want to be like time to kind of relax and chill. And I feel like although it is pleasant to have, you know, physical connection with somebody, it can be quite overwhelming or like stimulating, I guess, just in general. So I think having at least like being able to have like a little bit of a time on your own, just to like fidget and just like release all that energy that you have at the end of the day, it's useful for me. But it's very dictated on like what my mental health's like. If I'm going for a burnout, like no chance.
Thing that I try not to do, because that really just makes it worse. But generally, I consider myself in like spirit and personality. Like I love affection, I love physical intimacy. It's really good, and it helps my heart like heal in many, many ways. So
I was nervous to join this relationship. 3, 2, 1.
So are they nervous during the relationship?
I wasn't necessarily looking for a relationship, and I was not aware that Chai was on the spectrum until we started dating. I just thought he was awkward.
I mean, that's still true.
Which is still true. For me, I immediately knew that the relationship was going to be more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't a make or break deal.
This was also my first relationship. And, you know, Ray gave me something that not a lot of socially awkward, introverted guys with low self-esteem is that was, you know, attention and affirmation, you know, kind of
direct affirmation. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I kind of definitely like need some like level of like direct affirmation with anything. Like I'm not just speaking about romantic things. I mean like friendships, you know, talks with strangers. You know, if people can give like some direct feedback on things, or like just say like you mean a lot to me or that kind of thing, it kind of sounds a bit needy, which is weird because I'm definitely not like needy in that way. But I think it's just because I don't like assume things like within relationships, any relationship. PM Feria, how you doing? Nice to see you.
AA batteries for people with low self-esteem.
Interesting sound.
I forgot what the prompt was. Oh, nervous. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also nervous. Just like how I'm doing it right now. It's hard because it's a brand new experience.
It's got like some godly like introverted energy, like charisma. Interesting.
For me, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just, let's go and see what happens.
I'd love to hear from on this side. We have some disagrees.
Well, I'm dyslexic, so I read the signs wrong.
Oh no,
I'm on the wrong side.
Go for it.
I was gonna say I somewhat agree. At the time when I met Terry, I was in the military, and I didn't know I was on the spectrum, but I knew there was something going on. So I was somewhat nervous because I was afraid that he was gonna think I'm a little weird or different, because I already knew that I am very different than the, you know, neurotypical person.
The craziest thing was we discovered her autism after we discovered our children's, because it was just like, wait a minute, you did that. And you do that, and you talk like that, and you know, it was like, oh wow, like, and we just started to educate. So I strongly disagree, and some of the, you know, if we want to describe it as quirkiness, that's what made me fall in love with her. So I was very rigid, stern, strong, cold. She was very, you know, what are you talking about? Let it go, you know. And eventually, I was able to just let go. So I think I definitely gained from being.
I think autistic traits are definitely very attractive for me. Like, I don't know whether it's just because of the fact that I'm kind of online quite a lot and I, you know, talk to lots of people who are autistic or not, but definitely, like, it's cute.
In a relationship with her.
Not in an
So
infantilizing way.
I strongly agreed, because there was something so genuine about Connor. It didn't even like register to me at first that he was autistic too. The day he told me he loved me, I told my best friend, and she was like, well, like, what does he want? And I was like, I don't know. But since then, it's been incredible, and he's created such a safe environment for me, and it's the best relationship, and I love him very much. So
I remember when we first met, we were at a park with a bunch of people we barely knew, and we were both stressed about that. And we both, like the first time I even caught her eye, we gave each other like a stressed out side glance from being in a social situation. I'm like, yeah, because I've always gravitated towards people who are not neurotypical, and like she's not normal, but it's okay. It's okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We had talked a lot about like wanting to find people, like how we'd wanted to find someone that we could like open up to in the face of trauma that we both experienced. And it was at that point I was like, okay, like the nervousness will have to come to an end, and I think this is the person that I want to like retrain my brain into like doing that with.
Yeah, that's another really big factor. I think just looking at like the stats on autism and negative life experiences, like it makes sense. Like we're probably gonna have like more than not very likely to have some kind of baggage with us in terms of like traumatic experiences or just general like distasteful experiences with neurotypicals. Pedro says, anything for me would be nice generally. I guess that's what I'm a negative person. What do you mean?
New VX.
Okay, we've got some more adverts. Brilliant. Well, I think this is actually really interesting. I'm very pleasantly surprised about this video. Very much like it. Not really sure what I was expecting, to be honest.
Kids on the spectrum.
I want
3,
kids on the spectrum.
2, 1, go.
Yeah.
We have kids on the spectrum.
I know.
I don't like this.
If I were to like design a baby, I would make changes. I'm also an engineer, and there are things that like in my life that like
I would love to have an autistic kid. I would not like to have a kid who has mental health issues. I wouldn't want to like pass on my mental health issues to them. But yeah, definitely like having an autistic kid, like you'd be able to connect with that child like so much, and just be able to like understand what they need and what stresses are occurring for them. In regards of affirmation, yeah, I mean it's sometimes it is hard, definitely.
I don't feel attached to, and if I could, I would change just from like a genetics point of view. So,
I don't see that there's any fault in being on the spectrum, because this disability is just that society sees as our inability to communicate or talk to people, that to portray our intelligence, not by our minds, but by the way we speak. Why wouldn't you want, like, to love your kids, whether they're on the spectrum, any sexuality, any race, gender, or however? I suppose mostly my strongly disagree comes from with the way the world is kind of seeming like going now for our future generations. So that's more like, don't kids? I mean, probably not really.
We have children on the spectrum. And man, being with Ayumi and having kids to discover that has literally changed my life. It's changed my patience. It's changed my observations of self. It's changed all of the trauma that I grew up with, like, although it is definitely a learn as you go experience, and I definitely don't have, a closet full of all wins, I definitely am grateful for that opportunity.
They're amazing, like literally the most talented little girls ever. I do feel, sad because they do have challenges with making friends and not being able to.
But that's not an issue with them. That's an issue with the society that we have at the moment. We don't have enough autism education within schools. Like some of the most like brilliant outcomes that I've seen in terms of like making sure that autistic people can be socialized is when you actually talk to them neurotypical kids and you like explain it to them, like explain how they're different, what's different about them, what might happen with them sometimes in terms of like meltdown, sensory overload. But also like I feel like a lot of kids they want to include people. They just have that natural desire to. I'm talking by my experience within sort of special needs teaching. But yeah, it's definitely like a peer-supported awareness is massive, absolutely massive. But we don't have it. It's not mandatory within schools, sadly.
As be the neurotypical kid and being able to understand directions right away. So I do have to think, like, do I want another child to, have to go through that? So I say somewhat
the things that we
agree
have to go
because
through,
there's a
isn't
lot
it?
of
It's not the
challenges that I
actual-
had to go through that my kids are going through. So, but amazing people, little humans.
I have felt difficult to love. 3, 2, 1.
It's gonna be everyone. I knew it. I knew it. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure the question's correct because I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of things I have going on, like low self-esteem, extremely overstimulated, and
You want to be on the strongly disagree?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think you have to be on the other
Yeah.
side.
Wait, so you're saying if you're there
do you
because
feel
you
hard to
feel
love?
like you're easy to love if you're on that side?
oh no.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh look at
Like, there's gonna be so many there's gotta be like so much self-esteem issues with autistic people. Not like just because we exist as autistic people, but like the experiences that we have. Oh my god. Relatable.
Can we start all over?
The thing is, they're all lovely. Like, just seeing them, like, how can they be hard to love? Like, it's crazy. I mean, I'm saying that with, I would probably put myself somewhere similar to them, but, like, they all seem really great.
Mine's not long.
Okay, I teleported on this
we're such
side.
an unlovable.
I'll start for the top. Okay, so yes, I do feel like I'm very difficult to love. It's hard to be vulnerable, and being on the spectrum on top of that, it's just hard for me to.
All amazing people, totally. To be fair, I'd get the comprehension of these questions messed up as well. Yeah, me too. Be like taking a moment to. Everyone like takes a moment to like process. Like, where am I gonna go?
Communicate, or I might overreact. It's just, I feel like more than the typical person, I have a lot more things going on.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why would somebody love me when I have all these things? I can't even follow simple directions, or I can't even communicate something. So I just feel like I have lots of obstacles.
First, I'm going to say that
It's sad to hear that.
this room should be a living example of our belief that we're difficult to love is not real, because everyone probably thinks that way to some degree. And she's easy to love. She's a great mom, and I can sit up here and talk for hours about why I do love her and how easy it is, but I also understand she does have the challenges that she mentioned, but so do I. I also agree that I'm difficult to love, even though I would hope that she disagrees. But, if you choose to love me, love me for my strengths and help me through my weaknesses. So that's how I see it.
Preach.
So it's funny for me, like holding Connor's hand and being like, I feel hard to love, but autism itself is not the reason for that. For me, it's other disorders that, like, because I experience a lot of dysregulated emotion, like unpredictable waves of rage and paranoia and just things that I think would be stressful for a person to deal with
Paranoia is
being
a
with
big
me.
thing.
But Connor has been very patient, and I want to make him as happy as I possibly can, even in the midst of my challenges.
Yeah. The paranoia is real though. Like, I think it's because, growing up, we kind of have to interpret all of these things that people are telling us. And like, it's not easy. Like, and you kind of just naturally like question what's going on around you, especially when you're like younger. So imagine why I know kind of growing up and having those feelings, it definitely like blends into adulthood. I mean, they call our formative years for a reason. Like, they very much impact like the way that we grow up and relate to people. Paranoia, I think I come from insecurities about fitting in. Yeah, I suppose that could be another place, definitely. It's sad though, isn't it? Because they are just all really lovely, and you know, just want to kind of like shake them and be like, hey, come on, you guys are awesome.
For me, finding her hard to love isn't something that I think about. It's not something that I experience. I find her easy to love because I love her a lot. But in my personal experience, like the way my brain seems to work is that like if my brain's in the mood to perceive myself as like not likable or unlovable, it immediately summons the ghosts of everyone in my life that I've ever thought displayed that kind of reaction to anything that I may or may not have done. And so like I've had much more experience in that realm than I have in the self-help, like self-love, like, oh, I'm great, like I'm doing good. It's been an effort for me to try to retrain my brain to do less of that for less amount of like the time that I'm alive and awake. So
Damn, love is pretty darn hard. Like, yeah, I don't see how anyone could have figured this thing out. So many people feel alone when they're not alone. Like, you see how lonely that side is and how unlonely this side is to feeling like that we are alone. Like, how could this be? We're all sitting on the same line. We can't fit on the same line. Like, y'all would have been right here, but like, it's just not enough room for people to be alone. You know?
Yeah, I really want to be in this line, but I'm in this line because even though I've expressed feeling not safe or feeling lonely or feeling like I don't know who to turn to or who will accept me, I know that these feelings are transitions, and there's something that I need to find for myself within them. I'm trying to get over there.
It's hard work.
Yes,
like
over there. And
especially when you're different. Other people are
really
telling
grateful
you that
to
you're
Chai
different.
for helping me get to that direction.
Well, guys, this was an amazing conversation. This is a wrap. You are all
right,
set. Thank you guys so much.
Sorry,
Very good.
What's a rap? Just taking it super literally.
Huh?
Oh, look at that.
Oh, there?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a nice one. This was good. I like that.